Ian Henry here with Russ Farwell for another episode of Top Shelf with Russ Farwell. Today we're going to talk to Russ about our fourth round pick in the 2018 Bantam Draft, defenseman Aidan Brook. Russ, what are your thoughts on Aidan and what his skills he brings to the table, and led us to draft him in the fourth round?
Well, we saw Aidan at Manitoba, the best ever program. I thought he played real well there. But Manitoba's the first one, and a lot of times those players aren't quite as top of mind for teams. So that always affects the draft. And he played well. He's got a real good future. I think he's going to be a big guy and has a chance to develop. And he's a ways away right now. I don't think he's not a guy that was, because we got him in the fourth round. But he's a guy who I think can be, very similar to a guy like Harsh, who didn't have as much billing maybe coming through, but has developed into a real good defenseman in our league. Both, Harshy's going to give us good power play minutes. I think Brook's a multi, can do a lot of things, both offense and defense, and will have a big presence because he's big enough to be physical. So I think he can develop and be a real good defenseman.
His picking him in the fourth round as the first defenseman we took in the draft. We took 3 forwards and a goalie. Is that just because of the way our list was in the draft? Was the Bantam draft this year a little bit more top heavy with forwards in the fact of where you make the selection of Brook?
I think almost opposite that. It was top heavy with defensemen in the draft, and there was a lot of defensemen, and so I think that's why a guy like Aidan would fall to where he was, because there was quite a few defensemen. We just ended up taking the forwards because that's how we had them ranked. We were really excited. Siona was there, as we've talked about before, and then Roulette was, we thought, top end skills wise was too good to go by, and so we that's the decisions we made. But I think we were lucky. Brook's going to be a good defenseman for us. He comes from a hockey family, and I think that he's got 2 brothers that are, one that plays now and one that's going to play next year in Prince Albert, and I think he's kind of seen the path, and I think he'll develop and be a real good player.
That was sort of my next question with his older brother that played for the Moose Jaw Warriors, Josh. I believe he was a 19 last year. When you're making a selection of a player, how much do you take into account that fact that his brother might play, just from a fact of he knows our league, the teams, he has familiarity with the development model that the WHL presents?
Well, more than that, his dad played for me in Medicine Hat.
Oh, really? Whoa. Well.
So, yeah, he knows. They've really focused on it, and the boys have been through. I thought the middle one, I can't think of his first name, but the middle one that's Prince Albert played real well at the under 16 last year. I thought he was outstanding. I think he's going to be a real good player in Prince Albert. Josh has done well in Moose Jaw and kind of proven himself. He's been drafted. He's a key guy there. And so it's that much easier, I think, when you see that path. But, yeah, they certainly have the opportunity. Their dad understands the game and the process, and there's no reason that Aidan can't develop and be a good player.
Was his dad a defenseman too, and is the middle brother is it a family of defensemen?
No, not at all. The dad was a right winger, and the middle guy's a winger as well. So it just can't all play the same position. So yeah, it's got nothing to do with that. But I think when you throw the balls and the sticks out and you're playing in the driveway type thing, it's just the quality's a little higher. If it's in the family, and I just think it's a positive thing, and it certainly is going to be a plus for him.
He was just at the completed spring camp that we had in Edmonton. When you have the defensemen and the forwards and the goalies there, is there any specific drills that we did catered just to defensemen on the ice?
Definitely. There's an emphasis for, they break in different groups. Ian's there, he takes the goalies, and they work and jump back in and out the drills, but they talk specifically, of course, to their position, and we do the same thing with the D's. So they work on some skating things specific to their position, and then they do some skills things specific to what they're trying to do. And yeah, the guys, we had lots of firepower on the ice with, we had Steve Gritson there, and we had all the coaches. So we had no shortage of advice and guys that running things, and I thought they did a good job.
You'll see Aidan Brook on the Shower Center ice at training camp this year, which kicks off in late August. I believe it's the third or fourth Thursday in August, 22nd, 23rd. We look forward to seeing you, T-Bird fans, at training camp. Russ, thanks for this episode.
Very good.
Join us next time when we'll be talking about our 5th round pick, Sam Popowich.